There's a lot going on here in Sri Lanka and around the world. And to stay updated with the latest, you're watching Prime News here on TV1. Good evening, bringing you the news from the news desk. I am Sandro Satyajit. And I'm Mariam Dinamijaya. Before we head on to our stories in detail, let's take a look at your top stories for this evening.
Proposal to Parliament to allow local government minister to convene local government bodies for a preferred period. Natasha gets bail. High Court judge says the ICCPR has deviated from its fundamental purpose. Government approval doubled to 21% in June, says Verite Research. Bandula Gunawardhana's faith in the president.
මගේ පුද්ගලික විශ්වාසය තමයි මේ ටිකවත් කවදාක්වත් කරන්න හම්බ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. රාජ්‍ය නායකත්වයේ ජනාධිපති ධූරය රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහතා නොදරුවා නම්.
Is SM Chandrasena hoping for a new position?
ලොකු ගොන්නු කරත්තේ පිටිපස්සේ බැඳලා පුංචි ගොන්නු දාලා වියගහේ ගහලා කරත්තරන් යන්න උත්සාහ කරනවා. ඉතින් ඒගොල්ලෝ එක අදින්න බෑ.
Southwestern monsoon activates. Torrential downpours experienced across the island. Schools in Nuwara given 2-day holiday.
On to your lead story this evening, a private members' bill containing 3 draft bills that would empower the subject minister to reconvene all dissolved local government institutions for a designated time period was presented in Parliament on Wednesday. Now, the motion was presented by Sri Lanka Podujana Perumana parliamentarian Jayantha Katagoda.
SLPP MP Jayantha Katagoda in his private members' bill proposes to amend the articles in the Municipal Council's Ordinance, Urban Council's Ordinance and the Pradeshiya Sabha's Act to allow subject minister to reconvene the local government bodies for a designated period. The motion was seconded by SLPP MP Sanjeev Edirimana and it was opposed by the opposition.
MP Jayantha Katagoda presented a private member's bill. Yes, but wait. The election has been postponed. There are no members for those bodies and the election must take place. A date was fixed for the election. The MP is producing a private member's bill to recall those former members. There is no such provision in the constitution. Why are you entertaining such acts?
මම නිකන් අහන්නේ මොකද මට නිකන් පැටලිලා තියෙන්නේ. ඒ 50 සියල්ලම අදාළ අමාත්‍යාංශයට යොමු කරලා එතනින් වාර්තාවක් ගෙන්න ගන්නවා. ඊට පස්සේ විවාදයට ලක් කරන්නේ. මේක කපුටගේ යෝජනා.
This is a proposal from the Crow and it is enforced by the Crow's agent. A struggle took place to drive away that Crow. However, this shadow lurks among us. He wants to recall the former local government members instead of calling for a fresh election. Is this a joke? The Samagi Jana Balawege and the Alliance will go to court against this. When Parliament was dissolved in 2020 due to COVID-19, the election was postponed. At that time, the SJB informed the former speaker to reconvene Parliament. Shall I provide the voice cut given by the opposition leader? He wanted to reconvene Parliament. We wanted to reconvene Parliament to provide the necessary funding to prevent the spread of COVID-19 and draft necessary regulations.
නීතිපතිතුමාගේ අනුමැතියවත් හම්බෙලා තියෙනවද මේකට? අපිට ඒක දැනගන්න කැමති පොඩ්ඩක්. නීතිපතිතුමා අනුමත කරලා තියෙන්නේ. එහෙනම් දැන් මේක මේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට දැන් සභාගත කරනවනේ මේක. එතකොට අපිට උසාවිය යන්න පුළුවන් නේ? හරි.
ඕනෑම කාල සීමාවක්.
How can one summon the urban councils and Pradeshiya Sabhas for any time period?
ඒක පුදුම කතාවක් නේ. කොහොමද මෙහෙම අපබ්‍රංශයක් මේකට ගේන්නේ?
You are going to court against this.
උසාවිය අනේක වෙනම දෙයක්.
That is a separate matter. We are speaking of the Parliament and the Constitution. How can one say that the minister can delay the election as long as he wishes? This is a democracy, not a dictatorship.
ඒකාධිපති ආණ්ඩුවක් නෙමෙයිනේ.
Tensions flared in Parliament on Wednesday for adjourning Saturday's Parliament session at 7:30 p.m. On the 1st of July, the Sri Lankan Parliament approved the proposal to empower the Minister of Finance, Economic Stabilisation and National Policies to decide on domestic debt optimisation. The opposition noted that it was unacceptable that the Speaker decided to call for a division, whilst there were several more speakers on the list who were to express their views.
The leader of the House or the chief opposition whip did not call for an extension. What did you say? The Hansard speaks about an extension. I have the recording as well. That is the mistake here. There are government benefits and that is why you support them. When we understood that it was going to take more time, we asked the Secretary General if proceedings would go on until 9 p.m. Why wasn't there an amendment? Why did you end the session at 7:30 p.m.? At the party leaders meeting, we decided that the vote will take place at 7:30 p.m. If there is no vote, we decided to allow more speakers. The matter is clear on the agenda. It is said that you and your son are executing the orders of the executive as per the President's directive. Sessions ended at 7:30 p.m. This is a character assassination. We do not even wish to attend the business committee. If an agreement is reached at the business committee, it should be executed. We must take the matter of a state minister, ministers and former minister exerting pressure on the speaker to implement the directives of the executive to the International Parliamentary Union and the Commonwealth Parliamentary Union.
Natasha Edris-Surya, who was arrested and remanded for making a controversial statement, was granted bail by the Colombo High Court.
She was granted bail when the revision bail application was taken up in the presence of Colombo High Court Judge Aditya Pattabandage on Wednesday.
Natasha Edris-Surya was arrested and remanded under the provisions of the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, or the ICCPR Act. She was released on a personal bail of 100,000 rupees. Colombo High Court Judge Aditya Pattabandage, quoting then Minister Rohita Bogullagama, who introduced the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, pointed out that the use of the ICCPR Act has deviated from its purpose. The Colombo High Court judge also noted that, as per the ICCPR Act, the comments made by Natasha Edris-Surya did not incite racism or racial hatred. Two other cases against Natasha Edris-Surya are pending at the Magistrates Court, and counsel for Edris-Surya said the relevant courts will be informed by way of a motion of the High Court's decision.
The approval rating of the government doubled to 21% in June 2023. This is according to the latest round of the Gallup-style Mood of the Nation poll of Verite Research.
Now, the approval rating of the government doubled to 21% in June 2023 from the 10% that was recorded in both February 2023 and October 2022. According to the latest round of the Gallup-style Mood of the Nation poll of Verite Research, the approval rating of the government doubled to 21% in June 2023 from the 10% that was recorded in both February 2023 and October 2022. The survey showed satisfaction with the state of the nation increased, although only to 12% in June. This rating was at 4% in February 2023 and 7% in October 2022. Economic confidence was a negative 43.8, rounded off as negative 44 in June 2023. This rating was negative 78 in both February 2023 and October 2022. Multiple choice questions on the condition and trajectory of the economy were used to generate an economic confidence score. The score can range from negative 100 to positive 100. A score above 0 means more people see the economic conditions positively rather than negatively.
Sri Lankan Cabinet spokesperson Minister Bandula Gunawardena said the country managed to recover its present levels as Ranil Wickremesinghe was appointed president.
මගේ පුද්ගලික විශ්වාසය තමයි මේ ටිකවත් කවදාක්වත් කරන්න හම්බ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. රාජ්‍ය නායකත්වයේ ජනාධිපති
I personally believe that we would never have been able to recover. If Ranil Wickremesinghe was not appointed as president, the country managed to recover to its present levels as President Ranil Wickremesinghe had a proper program, a definite policy and was telling the truth to the people.
පුළුවන්කම රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ ජනාධිපතිතුමාට ලැබුණ නිසා තමයි මේ ප්‍රමාණයෙන් රට බේරගන්න පුළුවන් වුණේ.
While Bandula Gunawardena, who was elected from SLPP, made such remarks, parliamentarian SM Chandrasena from the same party commented on not being awarded ministerial positions.
දැන් ඔබතුමා ඇමති ධූරේ දිවුරුම් දෙන්නේ කවද්ද?
අහලා තියෙන කතාව බාලගිරි දෝෂේ අද නෙවෙයි හෙට. ඒ වගේම කොසල් රජුණන්ගේ තියෙනවා සීන 16ක්.
Have you heard the story where King Kosal had 16 dreams? The 12th dream relates to how the king should appoint his cabinet. When King Kosal told about his dreams to Lord Buddha said a bad time would dawn upon the country in the future.
රජුරෝ ගිහිල්ලා 12 වෙනි සීනේ ප්‍රතිඵල අහනකොට බුදුහාඳුරෝ කියලා තියෙනවා අනාගතයේදී අපේ රටට නරක කාලදාසාවක් ලබන්න පුළුවන් ඔබතුමාගේ කාලේ නෙවෙයි ලොකු ගොන්නු කරත්තේ පිටිපස්සේ බැඳලා පුංචි ගොන්නු දාලා වියගහේ ගහලා කරත් අරන් යන්න උත්සාහ කරනවා. ඉතින් ඒගොල්ලෝ එක අදින්න බෑ. අර අදින්න පුළුවන් ගොන්නු කරත්තේ නිකන් යට ගහලා ඉන්නවා. ඒක තමයි නරකම සීනෙ කියලා කිව්වා. සීනේ ප්‍රතිඵල එහෙම තමයි බුදුහාඳුරු කිව්වේ.
ඒ කියන්නේ ඔබතුමා ඔය කියන්නේ මම අපිට තේරුණු විදියට මේ
This is how the Lord Buddha told it to King Kosal as well, and he must have understood it well. It is the same for our people.
සුදුස්සෝ ඉදින්දි නුසුදුස්සොන්ට දීලා තියෙනවා කියලානේ කියන්නේ ඔය
නෑ මම එහෙම නෙමෙයි මම කිව්වේ. සිංහලවාද සූත්‍රයේ තියෙන කාරණයක් කිව්වේ.
ඒ කියන්නේ මම අහපු ප්‍රශ්නෙට ඔබතුමා උපමා කරේ ඒක.
උපමා කරේ ඒක.
ඒ කියන්නේ සුදුස්සොන්ට තන දීලා නැහැ කියන එකනේ.
නැත්නම් බුදුහාඳුරු අර කියපු අර්ථයෙන් ඒක මොනවා මේ වෙනවද දැන් මතු වෙනවද කියන එක මට කියන්න.
ඔබතුමා ඒක උදාහරණයට ගත්තේ ඇයි?
ඒක උදාහරණ.
There is no speciality in me taking it as an example. I said what I had to say from my heart. When you air this on your channel, people will understand it. This is enough.
channel එක දානවා නම් අහන්නට තේරෙයි. ඇති ඈ.
ඒ කියන්නේ ඔබතුමා මද්දුරයක් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ.
ඔව් මට ඔය තරම හොඳටම ඇති කිව්වා. ඕක හොඳටම පැහැදිලි.
Sri Lanka Podujana Peramana MP Jagat Kumara repeatedly expresses his displeasure regarding the curtailment of Samruddhi benefits during the Aswasama welfare benefit scheme. While criticizing the finance minister, he stressed that the people of the country did not vote for the government to cut subsidies.
After I expressed my views regarding this, the finance minister tried to put the blame on me, saying that this is our agenda. If we are leading this, the country would have already become a mess. We can also do that. I don't want to make this a political issue or make this country a mess. All I want to do is to do justice to innocent people who are suffering from poverty. Within the government, the ministers only get one vote to do so. That's why some people think that they are the best, they know the best, and they do it the best. When the so-called best is done and it is looked at, it is very clear that it is a wrong thing. The people of this country have not voted for this government to curtail their Samruddhi benefit and other reliefs. We have never asked to subsidize from those who have a proper income. Eligible people have been eliminated from the list and ineligible people have been included. When we highlight that, they are saying that this is an agenda of ours. No, there's nothing like that. I may be allergic to them. I might be annoying to them. But I do not care and it does not bother me. If the party doesn't understand our value, we will stay the way we want. I have not resigned from the government or the party. There are no more people to vote for everything in the government.
Groups who were excluded from the government's new social welfare program protested against the slashing of the Samruddhi benefits. A group of people gathered in Lunugambehera and marched towards the divisional secretariat.
අපේ ඡන්දෙන් ඉල්ලගෙන ඇවිල්ලා අපේ ඡන්දෙන් පාර්ලිමේන්තුවට ගිහිල්ලා දුප්පත් අපිටයි මෙහෙම කරන්නේ. අපි හැමදාම මහපාරද අපේ පුංචි කන්නේ කොහොමද? අපි ජීවත් වෙන්නේ කොහොමද?
A protest was organized in front of the Kalutara Divisional Secretariat on Wednesday.
අපි ගෙවල් ළඟ ඇවිල්ලා බලන්න කොච්චර කොච්චර සල්ලිකාරයන දීලාද කියලා. ඇයි අපිට මේ අසාධාරණ කරන්නේ?
Meanwhile, an argument broke out near the Palle Malala Samruddhi Bank in the Hambanturu Divisional Secretariat this morning. A large crowd gathered at the Palle Malala Samruddhi Bank to collect the Samruddhi benefit and the relief for kidney patients. However, due to some problem in the office, the payments have been delayed.
මුද්දරේ කපලා මම විතරයි තනියම ඉන්නේ දරුවෝ මේලා පරිස්සන වලට ආවෙත් නෑ ඔක්කොම කපලා දාලා.
The Ministry of Finance, on the other hand, says that they have received more than 550,000 appeals and objections regarding the Aswasama Social Welfare Benefit Program.
State Minister of Finance Ranjit Siyambalapitia says that the domestic debt optimization program was introduced by providing all possible benefits to the general public.
මෙතෙන්දී අපි කොයි වෙලාවකත් අපි විදේශයන්ට කතා කරනවා කපා හරින්න. අපි මෙතෙන්දී කොයි වෙලාවකත් කපා හරින්න කතා කරනවා.
We are speaking to external creditors for a debt haircut. But what we are looking for is an extension. We need to protect the banks, superannuation fund and their interest rates. The government has this responsibility. The government opted for debt optimization while protecting all those funds. We have given the maximum benefit to the people so that we can rise up from the crisis.
ජනතාවට දෙන්න පුළුවන් උපරිම ජයග්‍රහණය ලබා දෙමින් තමයි අර මහා වලෙන් ආර්ථික වශයෙන් වැටිච්ච බංකොලොත් කියන අශෝභන වචනයෙන් උඩට යන්න අපි කටයුතු කරලා තියෙන්නේ.
Who will benefit the most from the domestic debt optimization? Parliamentarian S.M. Marikar expressed his opinions regarding this in Parliament on Wednesday.
This is the poster put up by Bandula Gunawardena, Vijayadasa Rajapaksha during the last election. The voters' numbers was publicized during the bond scam. These are the people who are doing debt restructuring, saving the primary dealers. Rohitabe Gunawardena told on the 18th of April 2022 that they aren't out of their mind to give Ranil Wickremesinghe the position of Prime Minister. They are always talking about domestic debt optimization. Mahindananda Aludgamage said that he cannot sleep until Ranil Wickremesinghe is arrested. These are not my words, but are they correct? These comments were published in the newspapers and they are the ones who are now talking about domestic debt optimization. They are always asking for assistance. We wish to ask from Bandula Gunawardena, has he no shame to approve a high interest to be paid for Arjuna Aloysius? When the interest rate spiked up last year, the wealthy funneled their money via their primary dealers and invested in the bond market. There is no reduction. Leave aside the capital. There should be a reduction in the rates. You are focused on obtaining more loans to settle loans without sourcing for new revenue methods and by only looking at looting what is available. You do not understand Ranil, but we do. We spoke about debt optimization process. We said that this is a proposal that will collapse the banking system of the country, affecting the EPF and the ETF. We told them that we will withdraw the proposal and ask them to propose one instead. We also told them that we will get their approval for that. You didn't present it. You don't even speak for yourself. Now we did the debt optimization. If that didn't happen, what will happen to the banking system of the country? Nobody mentioned what will happen to the EPF and the ETF. The decisions are taken at the parliament based on the need, lawfully and democratically. We even let all political parties to express their opinions. Is it wrong?
Meanwhile, the Movement of the People's Council spoke to the media today as well.
The CBSL governor talks about 15.3 trillion rupees being restructured. 28% of it is related to public funds such as the EPF. However, the investments made by the wealthy and affluent people in financial institutions, owing to 60 to 70% of this, which belongs to this 15.3 trillion rupees being restructured, is not being looked into. Recently, policy interest rates were increased. When that happened, the wealthy and the financial institutions invested 1.7 trillion rupees at high interest rates. The government has made assurances to pay the high interest rates. However, only as little as 575 billion rupees was invested by public funds such as the EPF. Accordingly, a large sum of interest will be paid to affluent individuals, banks and financial institutions. There is no talk on the restructuring to be done on domestic debt they hold. What they are trying to restructure is the 28% invested by funds that include money of the masses. This government seems to be adopting a similar strategy to that of Cabral and his clan back in the day to favour their aides.
දේශීය වෙළඳපොලේ මුදල් ණයට ගත්ත ධනකුවේරයන්ව සනසවන ක්‍රමවේදයකට මේ ආණ්ඩුව යමින් තිබෙනවා.
අපි ණය හිමිකරුනේ.
We are debt owners. They say discussions must be held with debtors on restructuring. The government is engaged in discussions with private debt holders, international sovereign bond holders, the Paris Club, China and India. We are creditors too. Who has held discussions with us? No one. Discussions are held with one faction, but things are being shoved on us. Creditors must be treated equally. There is a fundamental principle called equal treatment. One set of creditors have told the government to pile the burden on another set of creditors. Will the government ever explain the conditions put forth by the international sovereign bondholders to China, Japan or India? No, those conditions are being imposed on our people. That cannot be done. International sovereign bondholders cannot impose conditions. We are also creditors who have an equal standing. Discussions must be held with us as well.
බැඳුම්කරුවන්ට එහෙම කොන්දේසි දාන්න බෑ. ඒ කවුද ඒක පිළිගන්නේ? අපිත් සම තත්වයක් තියෙන ණය හිමිකරුවෝ. අපිත් එක්කත් ඒ විදිහටම සාකච්ඡා කරන.
News first with the people.
On to your news and weather now. The Department of Meteorology predicts that rainfall over 75 millimeters can be expected at several areas in Kandy and Norelia district today. Now, taking into account the adverse weather in the area, the Zonal Director of Education for Norelia announced that schools falling under the purview of the Norelia Education Zone will be closed tomorrow and the day after. The Zonal Education Director, S. Sridhara, for Hatton says the schools in the area were closed today owing to heavy showers.
Now, 2,224 individuals in 10 districts have been affected due to heavy rainfall and strong winds in recent days. The Disaster Management Centre in its latest report says that the Gampaha district was worst affected by the adverse weather. Strong winds have caused partial damage to 599 houses island-wide, while 2 have been severely damaged. 5 people have also been injured owing to the detrimental weather.
150 schools fall under the purview of the Hatton Education Zone. A decision was made to close schools in the area to minimize inconveniences caused to students and teachers due to heavy showers. Meanwhile, 2 sluice gates of the Polkola Dam were opened as a precaution to face possible floods. The Mahavali Dam Engineer's Office requests the general public to be vigilant in this regard when travelling to areas close vicinity to the lower Mahavali River. A sluice gate of the upper Kotmale Reservoir was opened as well. Trees had collapsed at 3 locations in Kirlapana owing to strong winds. A vehicle was damaged after a tree collapsed onto it in Balapukana Road this afternoon. A vehicle was also damaged when a tree collapsed on it along the Vijay Kumar Tunga Road in Kirlapana. Another tree had collapsed onto a shop in Kirlapana. The portion of a roof of a 2-storied building at the Sri Nandasara National School in Ampegama collapsed owing to strong winds in the Ampegama area in Gaul. No injuries were reported despite students being at the premises during the time of the incident. The roof of a 3-storied building in Velapura College, Kalutara, was also damaged due to strong winds. Following the incident, steps were taken to remove students from 4 classrooms in the building. According to News First correspondents, strong winds were observed in the Galivatta area in Aglavatta this morning. A telephone communication tower belonging to a private company also collapsed. However, no injuries were reported. Several shops in Gaul and Devata were also damaged owing to strong winds. Vehicular movement along the Gaul-Udugama road was disrupted when a tree fell onto the road in Makulua, Gaul. Power lines were also damaged. Due to strong winds that were observed in Valigama, trees had collapsed onto the road in Pitithuva as well. News First correspondent said that power lines and fences in the area were also damaged. Heavy winds were also observed in Akura, Sumatra early this morning, where reports of trees collapsing were also noted. According to our correspondent, power outages were also experienced in the area. Meanwhile, the pandal that was set up for Adiyasalapoya at the Sri Bhartamulla Ancient Temple in Manikkoda, Akurasa also collapsed due to heavy winds. Meanwhile, 2 houses were damaged after 2 poles carrying high-voltage power lines collapsed in Kudagama, Dehiyattakandiya. A tree at the Dehiyattakandiya market had also collapsed early this morning. Meanwhile, a train derailed early this morning due to a tree collapsing onto the railway line between Talavakale and Watago. Our correspondent said that although the train journey was disrupted in the morning, the derailment later restored. Heavy winds also affected other areas, while reports of trees collapsing were noted island-wide.
On to other news now. The Rajangane Joint Agriculture Movement and the Anuradhapura District Greater Irrigation Joint Agriculture Movement protested demanding a certified price of 130 rupees per kilogram of paddy. Representatives of the Anuradhapura and Rajangane agricultural communities gathered at the 5th kilometer post in Rajangane and protested. Rajangane Joint Agriculture Movement will commence reaping the Yalla season harvest by the end of July, and farmers are demanding the certified price of 130 rupees per kilogram of paddy before that.
Farmers are helpless and their woes have fallen on deaf ears. The prices of goods have increased and we demand a solution within this week or call us for talks. This is the fourth season destroyed by cruel rulers. We do not have sufficient fertilizer or fuel. The paddy production cost has increased to over 100 rupees per kilogram. We demand 130 rupees per kilogram of paddy. The rulers must start thinking about the farming communities. You cannot deceive us anymore.
The Cabinet of Ministers on Tuesday decided to release 1 billion rupees to purchase paddy via the Paddy Marketing Board. The Agriculture Ministry said that a kilogram of paddy will be purchased at 90 rupees or 95 rupees.
In the meantime, restaurant owners have decided to reduce the prices of fried rice and kottu after LP gas prices were slashed.
The prices of fried rice and kottu will be reduced by 10%. There will be a reduction of 70 rupees from the 700 rupee kottu. 50 rupees will be reduced from the fried rice sold for 500 rupees. 100 rupees will be reduced from the kottu sold for 1000 rupees. We will provide this relief to the customers.
The LOLC Divisavya program, launched to lend a helping hand to the students of Sri Lanka, took place in the Galle district today.
School books and other stationery items were distributed among students under the LOLC Divisavya program. This worthy initiative is a collaboration between the LOLC group and the Ministry of Education. School books and other items were distributed to the students in the Galle, Ambalangoda and Alpitia education zones. Students from 12 schools in the Alpitia education zone were given school books and other items at the zonal education office. Students from the Patuwana Lanka Sabha Vidyalaya in Hikkaduwa, Imbulgoda Primary School in Ratgama, the Sri Vimalasara Primary School in Balapitiya, Katuvila Primary School in Ahungalla and several other schools received school books today. In addition, the LOLC Divisavya program also delivered school books and stationery to the Patuwana Lanka Sabha Model School in Dodanduwa. Students from several other schools in the Galle education zone were also provided with school books and other related items. The LOLC Divisavya program will continue in its endeavour to support the education of Sri Lanka's next generation.
State Minister of Foreign Affairs Tharaka Balasuria says that countries of the non-aligned movement must evolve to meet contemporary challenges.
He made these remarks while attending the ministerial meeting of the Non-Aligned Movement Coordinating Bureau in Baku, Azerbaijan.
The ministerial meeting of the Non-Aligned Movement Coordinating Bureau in Baku, Azerbaijan took place today. Speaking at the meeting, State Minister Tharaka Balasuria says that non-aligned movement countries must evolve to meet contemporary challenges and that a strong NAM that represents the problems of the states would be indispensable. He added that Sri Lanka had proposed to form the Climate Justice Forum for the vulnerable and developing countries with the common objective of ensuring greater climate justice. The theme for the meeting was NAM, united and steadfast in confronting emerging challenges.
A discussion on Sri Lanka's readiness for sustainable tourism, organised by the European Chamber of Commerce of Sri Lanka, was held in Colombo recently.
Sustainable tourism is a long-term goal for Sri Lanka, and the Sri Lanka government, together with Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority, has highlighted the importance in working towards creating the country a sustainable tourist destination. The primary objective of this event was to address the importance of sustainable tourism, ecotourism promotion, roadmap to Sri Lanka being a sustainable tourism destination, and the quick tips of adapting sustainability in tourism and hospitality-related businesses. Lars Bredal, Deputy Head of Delegation of European Union to Sri Lanka and Maldives, graced the event as the keynote speaker and educated the audience of the importance of sustainability in Sri Lanka tourism activities and the support being provided by the European Union in promoting sustainable tourism in Sri Lanka. The event was joined by a number of European Union member states ambassadors resident in Sri Lanka, senior representatives of the Sri Lanka Tourism Promotion Bureau and Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority, and many local and European business leaders in the tourism and hospitality industry.
On to news overseas now. 12 Palestinians and an Israeli soldier have been killed during the assault on Jenin refugee camp launched on Monday under Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's hard-right government.
The raid, Israel's biggest military operation in years in the West Bank, employed hundreds of troops as well as drone strikes and army bulldozers that ripped up streets. The large-scale Israeli army assault on Jenin camp had so far killed 12 Palestinians. During the operation, an Israeli soldier was also killed by, quote, live fire late Tuesday. According to foreign media, several journalists, all wearing safety gear and equipment labeled press, who were covering the attacks, were directly targeted by Israeli forces. According to reports, Israeli soldiers also shot live ammunition at a camera and transmitter as they were reporting live inside the camp. Early Wednesday, the army said it carried out airstrikes on the Gaza Strip after it intercepted 5 rockets fired at Israeli territory.
The world's average temperature reached a new high on Monday, topping 17 degrees Celsius for the first time.
US researchers said the new record was the highest in any instrumental record dating back to the end of the 19th century. Scientists believe a combination of a natural weather event known as El Nino and mankind's ongoing emissions of carbon dioxide are driving the heat. Last month has also been confirmed as the world's warmest June yet recorded. Scientists at the US National Centers for Environment Prediction said that the world's average temperature had reached 17.01 Celsius on the 3rd of July, breaking the previous record of 16.92 Celsius that had stood since 2016 August. Since the start of this year, researchers have been concerned about the rising temperatures on land and at sea. Record spring heat in Spain and many countries in Asia have been followed by marine heat waves in places that don't normally see them, such as the North Sea. This week, China continued to experience an enduring heat wave with temperatures in some places above 35 Celsius, while the southern US has also been subject to stifling conditions. Monday's high is the warmest since satellite monitoring records began in 1979. Experts also believe it is the highest since widespread instrumental records began towards the end of the 19th century. Researchers believe that the new global high is a combination of the naturally occurring El Nino event and ongoing emissions of carbon dioxide.
On to sports news now. The West Indies beat Oman by 7 wickets in their ICC World Cup qualifier encounter early in the day to collect their first few points in the Super 6 stage.
Now, after Zimbabwe failed to secure a World Cup berth, losing Scotland on Tuesday, all eyes will be on Thursday's Super 6 encounter between Scotland and the Netherlands to determine who will qualify for the ICC World Cup along with Sri Lanka.
Shea Hope won the toss for the West Indies and unsurprisingly elected to bowl in the Super 6 encounter earlier in the day. Kyle Mayers and Romario Shepherd took the new ball and the duo struck early, dismissing Jatinder Singh and skipper Aki Bilyas inside the power play. Oman managed to recover from 116 for 6 thanks to Shoaib Khan and wicketkeeper Suraj Kumar, who both scored half-centuries, helping Oman to 221 for 9. The Windies made easy work of their target, losing only 3 wickets, chasing 222 for victory and doing so in 39.1 overs. Brandon King was the top scorer for the Windies with a knock of 100 runs off 104 balls, while skipper Shea Hope contributed with an unbeaten 63.
News. Thank you for watching. Bringing you the news from the news desk. I am Sandro Satyajit.
And I'm Mariam Ganavijaya. Do stay tuned to us as Face the Nation is coming up next. Good night and take care.